Josh Giddey stands and Josh Giddey fans are two very different people. The stands that think that Josh Giddey is some already perfect, and they like to quote, well, he was in the category with only Jokic and LeBron. Yeah, but what do those two players have that Josh Giddey has not done? They have had both team success and individual success in this league that is undoubtable and unquestionable. And some of that is not Josh Giddey's fault. I talk a lot about how his role in OKC, he was not playing a role that was best suited to the way that he likes to play basketball. That role is here for him in Chicago as an actual point guard, and hopefully he does show that, and he does bring that level of consistency. And when he does, it's going to eliminate a lot of the questions. But to act like those questions aren't there now, yeah, you're crazy. So the Bulls do not have a number one on this roster yet. They have a guy that can absolutely facilitate the offense and be the heart and engine of that offense in Josh Giddey. They have a number one potential scorer in Coby White that can be number one for this team, but a true number one that I look at it as is that a player that just by their presence alone makes you at least a playoff team, not a play-in team, a playoff team, right? When you go and look at some of the other and true superstars in this league, regardless of what's around Anthony Edwards, they're going to the playoffs at least. Regardless of what's around SGA, they are going to go to the playoffs at least, right? That's what I look at as a number one, and the Bulls don't have that, and that's what Joe Cowley highlighted in this article. Of course, people hope that Modest is going to be able to turn into that. He has a lot that he needs to show before he does. But there is, I do like the fact that it does point out that this is not a roster devoid of talent, and that's what kind of sometimes in the past has come from Joe himself. That's what comes from like Nick Friedel. That's what comes from the national media, is acting as if this roster is completely devoid of talent. It comes from some of y'all, right? And so I love the fact that, you can call out the front office on what we're lacking and what we need without acting like, oh, there's absolutely nothing on this, because that's just not true objectively. We have talented players on this team. Now, the question, of course, is how far can this core of talent go? Or do you really have a player that's going to develop into a true number one? I just defined what that is. And until that happens, there's always going to be the question. We could talk about the potential of somebody doing it all day long until somebody actually does it and puts this team on their back, and we look at it like there's no way we can not at least be a playoff team because of this guy, right? It's very rare that rosters have high levels of success without having that guy, right? Now, it has happened before. You think about the Detroit Pistons over 20 years ago at this point, right? I would say a little bit of that is to Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. Like they did it more so off their core, but Tyrese Halliburton was the engine of that offense. But I still think it was more the sum of the parts than it was just necessarily Tyrese Halliburton.